Hello, guys. So, this is the first episode of the sports scene. Myself, Marlind, joined by Mr. Liam Rafferty. We've got lots to discuss, my friend. How are you today?
I'm very good, mate. How are you? How are you?
Not bad, not bad. So, obviously, a big week has occurred in the world of football. Obviously, yesterday, let's just laugh at Man United, first of all. Grimsby! Grimsby FC managed to be 2-0 up for the majority of the game against Man U. And also, even though Man U did come back, to be fair to them, to make it 2-2 in the normal time, Man United lost on penalties to Grimsby Town. Liam, as a big Liverpool fan, what's your thoughts on the current state of Man U?
Hilarious.
It's
Ryan Giggs once said Man United would never collapse like Liverpool Football Club. It was worse. It's worse.
It is worse. Even as an Arsenal fan myself, the banter era that we had, we were never that bad. Never this bad.
No. I think we were lucky in the sense that Gerrard carried us a lot, but there's not one Man United player right now who I think they're actually a really good player. Fernandes has his moments.
Yep.
I mean, last night, Sesko, absolute stinker. Basically, the three big new signings in Mbeumo, Cunha, Sesko, stinkers.
They were, to be honest. Mbeumo did score a really good goal, but he did miss the decisive penalty. I would put a bit more blame on Matheus Cunha, though, after Clark Odua missed his penalty. Matheus Cunha had the chance to win the game for Man U and send them into the third round, but he missed, and it was an awful penalty as well. What do you think about Benjamin Sesko taking the 10th penalty, by the way?
That is laughable.
I just don't understand. As a striker, it's just baffling.
I know certain strikers have the mentality that I know Gerrard spoke about a lot with Torres, where he just wouldn't take penalties.
Yeah,
I know maybe a striker misses a few and they just think, I can't take them.
Yeah.
But as Man United's new big striker, you spent big money on him.
Yep.
You should be taking a penalty, at least in the first 5.
No, of course.
The fact that was it Onana took one before Sesko, or was it Sesko?
No, Sesko was the one just before Onana.
Oh, right, my bad. But the fact that that was just in between the striker and the goalkeeper is actually laughable.
It's very bad, and I mean nowadays we're getting as well. Not that many. You tend to see more midfielders and sometimes even defenders actually take penalties.
Harry Maguire is a good penalty taker.
You know what I mean? So you tend to see a lot of that nowadays, where it's not always the striker. Like, if it was in the 90s and the early 2000s, it would be unheard of, in my opinion, to see a striker not take the penalty.
Oh yeah.
Nowadays in football, obviously things are a lot different, but still, as a striker,
you should have the balls to step up and
exactly. You want to get it out of the way first as well. Like,
plus you want to make it's League 2 Grimsby Town.
That's what I mean. It's
you should, the fact that he had a stinker as well. Let's not
he played really badly. Yeah, Mr. Sitter.
Yeah, Mr. Sitter. The fact that he just didn't do anything all game, and the fact that it took a while for him to take a penalty. It took him the sudden death to take a penalty.
The worst thing is as well is that when you put into consideration how much money they spent on him, and in the first 2 games of the league campaign they had against Arsenal, my team, and against Fulham, he didn't start him in either game, saying that he wasn't ready. So, he's going to need to get up to speed fast. But there's a lot of pressure on him because they spent a lot of money on him. Obviously, Højlund was the previous big money signing that they had, as a striker, and
he's looking like him right now.
He's very poor as well.
He's getting linked with back going Italy, isn't
he? He's close to signing for Napoli. It seems so, which could be a good signing for. The one thing that Antonio Conte does have is that with strikers, he's normally got a good sort of track record. So you never know. Højlund could then go and do really well in Italy. But if that happens, then what does that say about Man U and the way they're ran?
With McTominay as well.
You know what I mean? Unbelievable how he looked like an okay player in the Premier League. Nothing too fancy.
And then he goes over to Italy, goes to Napoli and wins most valuable player.
Wins most valuable player, scores, was the second top scorer after Lukaku. Yeah. Scored the first goal in the last game of the season to help them win the league against Cagliari. So, Man U must feel like absolute mugs, especially when you consider that they sold him to then go and buy Manuel Ugarte, who can't even get ahead of Casemiro, who at this stage of his career, he's probably
Casemiro's a weird one because obviously what a brilliant player when he was at Real Madrid.
Oh, of course.
But when Man United signed him, that was not the Casemiro that we knew.
Of course.
That played in that Real Madrid team with like the likes of Benzema, Ronaldo, Bale, Toni Kroos, Modric. That team was just stacked. And then like Ramos at the back, mental.
He was going into a team that wasn't as good, and he did well in the first.
But to be
season,
fair, it was a weird Was he? They signed him when they signed Varane as well.
No, it was a season after.
So when they signed him, it probably felt a bit like
they were building that.
Real Madrid team. But Varane retired so early. That man's career finished way too soon. But
it's a shame. Yeah, he was a very good defender. But Man U at the minute are just I mean, unbelievable.
But the thing is, what is the answer for Man United? Because there's like, you look at them and just think, they've tried this, they've tried that. They've had, what is it now? Fergie left 2012, wasn't it?
2013 he left, yeah.
So Moyes come in, they've had Van Gaal, and then obviously they've had interim managers in between all of them, but went to Mourinho, then Solskjaer, then Ten Hag, now it's Amarin. That's like, in such a, I know it is a long time, but in a time to have that many managers is laughable.
I think I was speaking about this with a friend of mine actually. That I mean, you can trace it back as far as who's the actual since obviously Fergie left. They were 2 leagues ahead of Liverpool. Obviously Liverpool have now caught them back up. Liverpool will be looking for probably the next 2-3 years. Hopefully not this season, as I want my team to win it. But still, Liverpool will be looking to, go ahead and get the 21st league title. How monumental will that be as a Liverpool fan? Because obviously you remember, or at least your dad will remember, 2009 when they took the mick out of Rafa for matching the 18, then getting 19
Rafa's
and 20.
cracking up.
Yeah. Obviously when they got the last 2 league titles in 2011 and 2013, to then go ahead and eclipse Liverpool. Now that Liverpool are back on level terms.
Back on the perch.
Exactly. If Liverpool win their 21st league title, how monumental do you think that would be for Liverpool and the sort of the Liverpool Man United debate that is always amongst fans of who's the bigger club?
Well, first and foremost, Liverpool have double the amount of Champions Leagues.
That's true.
And Man United. If they go ahead of leagues, what the Man United FA Cups?
No,
that is it. That's all Man United have over Liverpool at that point. Liverpool, I think, are still ahead of trophies, or I think they're on the same at the moment. But they'll go ahead of league titles, trophies, Champions Leagues. Yeah. Like, what else can Man United do? They have to do something this season, which they've had a poor start.
Exactly.
There's still a lot of games, but there's no way Man United this season have to finish in Europe. That is the goal.
Absolutely. With as much money as they spent as well, and who knows, maybe in the next few days.
Plus, where are they getting this money from? Because
good question.
Because they said, "Oh, we're in this much debt. We're going to sack all of like the cleaning
staff." Yeah.
Like, and then go and spend fucking ridiculous amount of money.
250 million nearly, and on Burmo, Sesko, and Cunha, and they were looking at trying to buy Carlos Baleba from Brighton. Seems like that's not going to happen now. Are they going to be in the market for a midfielder? They probably have to be.
Oh, because that midfield is slow. It is slow.
It's very poor, and
And the thing is, Fernandes, he looks lost.
No, he does.
He looks like he doesn't know where he's meant to be playing.
I think the biggest problem as well, going quickly back onto, sort of as you said before, all the Man United managers that have come in. I remember Gary Neville talking about this a while ago, but which of the Man United managers that have actually come in have had a system, stuck to it, and had sort of semi-success? I'd say the only one really, in my opinion, I don't know if you agree, would be Louis van Gaal.
Louis van Gaal's defensive record was very good. I know it was boring football,
very good.
But
they were complaining about the boring football, but to be honest, the one thing Louis van Gaal was, he was consistent. In the 2 seasons he had, he finished 4th and he finished 5th, but with an FA Cup. So at least they were, pretty consistent. And, since then, really, Mourinho was 6th, 2nd, then obviously he got sacked in the 3rd season. He was successful in, he won the Europa League, the Carabao Cup, got to an FA Cup final. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, numerous semi-finals, got to a Europa League final, lost on penalties. In the end, got sacked after, bad results.
Get out.
Bad results to the Alberto Moreno clip, yeah. Obviously, then bad results to Liverpool when you beat them 5-0. The Man City game, they lost. And then obviously Watford 4-1.
The thing is, as well, is that...
But Ten Hag didn't do any better either.
The thing with Ten Hag is that he won an FA Cup and League Cup.
No, he did.
Which is a lot better than what Amarin's doing right now.
But to be honest, when...
I know Man United was still playing the league, but to finish... What was it, 17th last season? Was it 16th? 15th, sorry. To finish 15th last season.
It's awful.
As Man United.
Like, I mean, when they finished 8th with Moyes, and when they finished
that was seen as a disgrace then.
Yeah, and I mean, Moyes didn't even last till the end of the season. He got sacked in April.
Give it Giggsy.
Give it Giggsy till the season. But you know, even that season 23-24, when Ten Hag finished 8th, he salvaged it with an FA Cup, but still, the league campaign was that bad that, you know, they nearly sacked him based off of that. Yeah. And, you know, they crashed out in the Champions League very early as well. But you would never have thought that last season they would have actually went worse. And they can say what they want to, oh, we got to Europa League final, but you can't justify a 15th place finish. Even if they won the Europa League, still, the 15th place finish.
The fact that Man United and Spurs won that final was generally laughable.
I mean, 15th and 17th in the Premier League, it's just unbelievable.
Yeah.
But the one thing that Spurs did, even though Spurs won the Europa League, they actually sacked Postecoglou.
Yeah. Which is a ballsy move, by the way.
Very ballsy, because it was their first trophy in 17 years. And, you know, you'd have thought that would have probably bought him enough time.
As an Arsenal fan, sorry to cut you off there, but what is your thoughts on Thomas Frank? Because I think Thomas Frank is a very, very good manager. By the way.
I don't like the fact that I like Thomas Frank as a manager. Yeah. I think he's a good manager. As an Arsenal fan, I obviously want Spurs to do, you know, awful, but no, I think he will. I think they will be better this year. I don't know
if they'll compete for
the league. I don't think so, but I think there will be a bit better defensively. Which, to be honest, with Postecoglou, they scored lots of goals and they were maybe fun to watch for a neutral. But I mean, defensively, they were absolutely awful. I'll never, you know, I'll never forget. Really, I know they had a few injuries last season as well, but you know, they played Liverpool at home. I think it was in the December. I think. I mean, you know, they lost 6-3. And Liverpool obviously won the league last season. They were the best team in the league, and you know, they played really well. But to lose 6-3 at home, I don't care who you are. You know, not even Ipswich were losing that.
It was too attacking.
Exactly, too attacking. I think Thomas Frank, as proven by the result that they had against Man City,
you know what Ange Postecoglou reminds of. Obviously, I wasn't live. I can't really exactly say that. I remember it, but it sort of feels like. I think obviously the Newcastle team was a lot better.
Yeah, with Kevin Keegan.
Yeah, but it reminds me of Kevin Keegan when it was just all out attack. It was entertainers and it was just entertaining people, which it was entertaining last season. Like I think Postecoglou and Carragher had a bit of a joke saying like, but in the end, it was just costing them too much. Like,
no, you're right.
They won a Europa League, but in the grand scheme of things, it was suicidal football.
No, absolutely. And ironically, the one time where he probably went against his principles and played defensively, they actually won, which was against Man U. It was a very boring final. You know, they took their chance when they got it. And yeah, it was
Onana.
It was too Onana. Again, he's another talking point that we're probably going to have to discuss. You know, but yeah, that was a poor final. But the thing is, you look at Spurs and think they'll probably kick on.
Yeah.
Or at least they'll get a better place in the league. Like, they're not going to finish 17th. They'll probably, you would put them in maybe, a lot of people probably predict them top 7, I'd say for sure.
Yeah.
I would probably go as far to agree. But Man U, you just don't have any idea where they're going to finish. I mean, it's a long season. It's still, you know, we've got another 36 games left. But even though they've got one game a week, like, Amorim was a bit ludicrous what I thought his comments were on Sunday after Fulham. They were saying that, we're not equipped to play 3 games a week, and it's like, okay, but with all due respect, League 2 Grimsby and Burnley at home, who Burnley are, you probably couldn't even put a bet on them to go down because they're the bookies' favourites to go down.
Yeah. You probably lose money.
Literally, no, you would. No, it's true, and like if he's complaining about that sort of, you know, fixture load. Then imagine they actually get Europe this season. Then what's it going to be like next season when they're actually going to have more games? And it's like, I don't know. I think Amorim at the moment is being saved by the fact that Man United, as you said, over the last few years, have had a massive turnover of managers, and they feel as if they're in a position where they maybe have to stick with Amorim. But I don't know if he can get any better. I mean, he's got more points. Sorry, he's got more games than points. Absolutely outrageous. So that's not accepted. Like, if that was at Arsenal, then I'll tell you how, you know, personally, he had that struggling period in the COVID, but eventually we got, you know, we were 15th.
They give him time.
We gave him time.
Trust the process.
Exactly. that line. But we were 15th in December of 2020. But at least eventually, Arteta salvaged the league season and we finished 8th. So still not a very good season, but the point is that at least there was progress there. Amorim, in the end of the November last season, they were 7th, I think. They were 4 or 5 points off the Champions League places, and then they just went
to collapse like that is crazy.
You know what I mean?
We were just being off camera though that the City and Liverpool game, did kind of save him a little bit.
No, it did. It did. I honestly think that if he didn't, in that period of where they had in January, I think they lost to Palace, they lost to Brighton. I think if he didn't beat Man City, and if they didn't, because the one thing that even Amorim yesterday as well, trying to defend his system, he mentioned how they played really well against us. Granted, we were very poor in that game, I think, and we just never really played well at Old Trafford, but we won the game, so who cares? But he mentioned about how they played really well against Liverpool. That was in January of 2025.
Like last season.
That was last season. It was. It's not like in May where you can go.
By the way, Liverpool were absolutely terrible that game.
You know what I mean? So that's fair. But I thought United played well. I remember they played really well. But again, that was January 2025. Like how you can justify your system being good when you can name 2 decent performances in the league.
And why? Unbelievable. And why is Amad Diallo playing right wing back?
Doesn't make sense.
What is that all about? Amad Diallo, right? He's one of them players where I think if he goes anywhere else in Man United, he's a really good player.
Yeah, you're right.
But the fact that he's at Man United misusing him, it's why?
Well, to be honest, if you look at it as well, last season I thought for a lot of anything good that Man U did, he was a part of it, really.
Oh yeah.
Especially the Man City game was a prime example.
Plus, he's a bit of like
scored a good goal against Liverpool.
Yeah, he's
an important goal.
He's quite of a cult hero because of that.
He is, yeah.
I think, yeah.
And then he scored a hat trick against Southampton as well. I think it was like a 15-minute hat trick. But honestly, they're an absolute mess at the minute, and long may it continue. Long may it continue. So moving on from the absolute shambles that Man United are, we go on to another shambles, another British shambles. Rangers and Celtic. Sure. I mean, spare a thought for the pair of them. Celtic went crashing out of the Champions League to Kairat Almaty, the Kazakhstan team. They played 180 minutes against them. They couldn't score. They went out on penalties. And, for Celtic, all the good work they did last season, sort of giving themselves a bit of a better rep in the Champions League. I mean, they nearly knocked out Bayern Munich. Or at least nearly took them the extra time.
Yeah.
So, that
and even Rangers, because not last season, but last 2 seasons they've been doing all right in Europe, and the Europa League especially.
The Europa League, they got to the final 3 years ago.
The fact is that they can never convert in the Champions League.
No, you're right.
It is quite worrying. I know Club Brugge are an established team, but Celtic is more embarrassing. I'm sorry, it just is.
I mean, that's the thing, innit? Rangers obviously lost 3-1 in the first leg at home to Club Brugge, and then last night they lost 6-0, obviously. They did go down a 10 men, but still not excusable to lose to Club Brugge 6-0. But the problem that Rangers have at the minute is they got in Russell Martin over the summer. Is it fair to say he's already lost the dressing room?
Oh, it's 100%. Well, I was going to say fact. It's not fact, but I think he has. I think he's going to be like the next Michael Beale.
He hasn't won a league game.
And I generally think that if they lose the Old Firm on the weekend, he'll be gone.
I mean, that's understandable. I mean, he came out, was heavily critical of his players during the first game of the season. During the last game they had, Hamza Igerman refused to come on. He's been sold. So there's a big problem there already, and he's barely been there 2 months. So I don't see it ending well for Russell Martin, to be honest.
No, absolutely not. I think, to be honest, he wasn't. I'm right in thinking that he wasn't even their first choice because they wanted that Ancelotti's son. That was named Davide
Ancelotti. Yeah, he was the first choice.
Didn't he go to Brazil or something?
He's went to Brazil. I think.
Obviously, Ancelotti is the Brazil manager now, but Carlo Ancelotti, sorry.
Carlo, yeah.
But the fact that he wasn't really the first choice anyway was alarm bells.
Doesn't help.
Russell Martin, he's a weird manager because he plays the football the style of football that
Yeah.
every club wants to play.
Yeah.
But it's not effective. You look
No,
at Southampton Championship it was, but
Yep.
they already had an established squad there
But even
to
then,
go up. I think any type of football with that Southampton team would have went up.
probably, yeah. They had a very good team.
But to continue playing like that in the Premier League was suicidal. And the fact that he's playing like that at Rangers right now and not winning games,
Yep.
it's inexcusable.
No, it's very worrying if you're a Rangers fan because, I mean, Barry Ferguson didn't end the season too bad.
No,
they were okay in the Europa League. You know, they lost to Fenerbahce, but it was on penalties. So.
And Jose Mourinho, if I remember, went in their change room and congratulated them.
Yeah, because they did really well. So, yeah, it's just it's a bit of a if you're a Rangers fan, it's a bit worrying. For Celtic, maybe not as much, even though they haven't invested that much in the summer.
But they want rid of the. I see stuff all the time saying that their fans want rid of the board and.
They're not happy at the minute.
I think they're leaning towards Brendan Rodgers out.
But
Brendan Rodgers is getting heavy linked with Nottingham Forest.
Is he?
Because of
that's another situation.
Situation.
I mean, this season's already been mental in terms of
it's
lots of clubs issues. You know what I mean?
Especially the Premier League's only been 2 games in. So much has happened.
Nottingham Forest have problems. West Ham have problems.
Yeah.
You know, Man United have problems. There's always something, and this season in particular as well. We could see managers get sacked very early on, whereas the last couple of seasons it's not been until sort of October, November. We could have it. We could get sackings in September potentially. But yeah, so as you said, obviously a very poor week for Scottish teams.
Yeah.
As we move on. Obviously, talk about the elephant in the room. Big game of the weekend, the blockbuster game of the weekend.
Yep.
Liverpool, your team. Arsenal, my team. Is it an early 6-pointer for the league, do you think?
It is, but it isn't, because it's way too early. It's a third game in. So it could defy it if you look back on it.
Yeah.
But currently right now, it's not.
No, it's not at all.
If something happens later on, then you'd be like, oh, we drop points there or we gain points there. But for me, I think it'll be a draw.
I do, as much as I would like to say that we would win, I do agree as well. Our record at Anfield hasn't been the best over the last few years.
I think you need to start Robertson over Kerkez.
Yeah, I
think Kerkez needs a bit of time to gel.
Yeah.
Same with Wirtz. Wirtz, I think, is a bit too raw.
Wirtz isn't looking good at the minute, as he's been a bit poor. I mean, against Newcastle, he sort of went a bit hiding. I mean, the type of game that Newcastle game was, it can happen to certain players.
Yeah.
But
I think the thing is
really
like Newcastle, Bournemouth for home is still a tough game. Or Bournemouth for like a weird side where.
Yeah, always dodgy. I mean, they beat my team twice last season.
I think Wirtz, he needs time to gel. I always remember back like in the Klopp era, Klopp would kind of sense if a player needs time.
Yeah.
You look at Andy Robson when he first signed.
Prime example, yeah.
You always kind of give them time to sort of mix in with the players. But I mean, it's been a lot of signs this season, by the way.
You have signed a lot of players, and the one thing I will say is that you maybe haven't signed as many Premier League players.
I think Conor Bradley is back.
Yeah, that's good for you.
If he's obviously Frimpong's out anyway, but Bradley and Robertson, at least they've played together a few times, which I think helps.
And not just that, but I think obviously they've got, especially Robertson as well. He has that sort of experience in big games. And the positive for you is that Bukayo Saka and Martin Odegaard will not be playing on Sunday, especially Bukayo Saka, because he tends to have a bit of joy at Robertson. Some games he does, some games he doesn't.
There's no basketball this time.
But obviously we've just announced, or a few days ago we announced the signing of Ebery Chieze. Absolutely buzzing with the signing. I think he's a massive signing. I think he's that final piece of the jigsaw, which will hopefully push us into the league this season.
He was at the game, wasn't he?
He was. Yeah, he got announced before the game, and it was massive. And he'll more than likely be making his debut on Sunday against either Conor Bradley, or will Arnie Slot put Szoboszlai there again.
He had a good game.
Didn't play bad. To be fair.
I think obviously he's not a right back though. You
can't
continue to play. I thought he would have put Curtis Jones there, but
He did, to be fair. Do you remember though in the 3-3 that he had against Newcastle last season?
But it didn't work. It didn't work
at all. I mean,
it wasn't Curtis Jones. So Jarrell Kwanzaa was playing right back.
Yeah. Against Newcastle last season.
I think, if I'm right in thinking, I don't think he lasted the full 90.
No, he took him off at half time for Trent on. Trent changed the game.
Yeah, Trent did change the game, I remember. I mean, I was there, so.
Yeah, you would know. Yeah, you would remember.
But looking at this time, obviously there wasn't really any option at right back because Frimpong's injured. Conor Bradley's just come back from an injury, so he couldn't play the full 90.
Yeah.
Conor Bradley, by the way, Frimpong and Conor Bradley is like chalk and cheese. They're so different.
They are very different defenders, yeah.
Like, I think Conor Bradley is so much better defensively, and I think he would probably... But the thing is, in certain games, you need that kind of attacking mentality.
Yeah.
But Conor Bradley offers more security to the back line.
Yeah.
I think playing Frimpong and Kirkus at the same time is suicidal. Because
especially both are very attacking. Yeah, no, you're right. And another thing as well that I wanted to ask as well. Do you think is there a chance that Rio Ngoma may start? I mean, obviously,
I don't think he'll start.
Took his goal really well on Monday, and it was that's a big goal for you. You didn't really play well, but you found a way to win.
It was such a weird moment because Newcastle probably overall did deserve to win that game.
Yep.
Even though they went down to 10 men.
Yep.
When they brought it back to 2-2, they just went for it.
Yeah.
And it just cost them in the end because when you look at that dummy that's the boss side, if they had 11 players, there'd have definitely been someone on Rio.
Probably.
And the fact that there wasn't, obviously it was a good finish, but he was still open, unmarked. And the dummy by boss side, by the way.
No, it's fantastic. Yeah. I mean, he won't get the assist, but it is sort of his assist. If you consider
he made the goal, essentially.
No, absolutely did.
But I don't think you'll start, but I think you'll probably come on. Same with Chiesa. Both of them come on at the same time against Newcastle.
He did, yeah. And them two were massive in that goal. They were massive in that.
It's been Chiesa. He just got a call up to Italy.
Yeah, he has. Yeah. And I mean, he's a big player for them as well. So obviously for them, him playing now a bit more often for yous is good for their national team. I think one of the few players that Dominic Szoboszlai, I think, played well on
Van Dijk was a colossal at the back. I know they conceded 2, and I know it was a bit sloppy.
I think Van Dijk was massive, especially when sort of in the last 10-15 minutes when there were a lot of set pieces.
I really worry that we're not going to sign another centre-back. I know we've just signed one.
Leone from Parma.
But I don't... It's going to be a lot on him if he just kind of just jumps the gun.
I think it's been... that for ages, really, for Virgil van Dijk. I think he's always been sort of the defense. I mean, even when he had Dejan Lovren as a centre-back partner, I think Van Dijk has always found a way to marshal the defence.
There was still a lot more centre-back cover.
That's true.
When Lovren was there, because they still had like some Matip and Gomez. If it was
were two very good defenders, in my opinion.
Gomez was unbelievable, but his injuries just caught up.
Yeah,
obviously, I know Gomez is still there now.
Yeah, he is, yeah.
But Gomez is such a good player that he can play across the back line.
He can, yeah. Plays all over the back.
But I still think Guéhi's the one.
Yeah, Guéhi's massive for you. Guéhi's a really good centre-back.
Yeah.
Palace have, what they've done with him is really good. And him and Van Dijk would be a great partnership to have. But I don't know if you'll get him now. I do have a feeling that maybe
it won't be now.
You'll get him for a cut price in January, I think.
It does worry us a little bit because the lack of cover at centre-back. I think Konaté's head is not there at the moment.
I think that's where I believe Victor Gyökeres may have a bit of success against Konaté, yes, obviously.
The thing is, though, I know he did score, was it twice in the weekend?
Yes, he did, yeah.
But the Man United game, we do have to address that.
Was very poor, I'll give you that, he was very poor, but again, the whole team was poor, so I can't really put it specifically on him. I think everyone, I think there's 3 players that, in my opinion, played well against Man U: David Raya, William Saliba, and Gabriel Magalhaes, which has been like that for a lot of last season as well, to be honest. At a consistent level anyway, but no, we did beat Leeds 5-0. It was a great performance once we'd scored the first goal. The biggest problem that still there seems to be this sort of, we can't break teams down through open play. And, it was a set piece that won us the game against Man U. It was a set piece that we scored from to score first against Leeds. So it is going to be a great game to watch. The only problem for me is that I just wish if we'd had Saka fit, I really think we could have got Ayers. I know Odegaard as well, but I think we may try and be a bit more solid in midfield, and I would suspect that he'll play Zubimendi, Rice, and Marino as a sort of a flat three. I just can't imagine him putting Ethan Nwaneri in there.
Yeah, that's too much for him.
Big game, Anfield. You know, and I do think we'll see Eberechi Eze on the left, and I think Noni Madueke will play on the right, which I don't think is a bad option to have. It's not a bad alternative to Saka. He's not on the same level, obviously, but it's not a bad alternative. And I think Victor Gyökeres will play up top.
Havertz is out for a while.
Havertz is looking likely to be out for a while, and not really ideal. But you can argue, bless him, obviously with his injury, but obviously maybe it's forced the club to act, and then obviously we went and got Eze. So,
but that is an absolute steal.
It is
for I know it was still a big sum of money, but the price
68 million is not bad at all. Really, when you consider he's a proven player in the Premier League, he's been doing it for the last 4 or 5 years, compared to Mykhailo Mudryk, who Chelsea spent 88 million on.
Yeah, that's.
And Anthony was 85 million, and they weren't even proven in the Prem. So, it's
plus you needed someone on that left side.
No, absolutely.
Martinelli is. You know what it is? Martinelli's only turns up for 2 games a season, and it's always against Liverpool.
Oh, you're right. I was going to say, actually, I don't know if he thinks because of his good record against Hughes lot.
But you always got a Trent now.
That's true.
Trent's like that.
But even last season, to be fair, I know you rate Conor Bradley highly, and I do think he's a talented player. There was one of the goals that the first goal we scored against you in May. May was I don't really take the May game in too much consideration. I think first half you played very well. You just looked to sort of show us that why you are the champions.
Yeah.
But I think second half we completely took over.
The thing is, though, I think he's done well to come back.
I think second half we completely took over.
I think what really changed the mentality of Liverpool was when Trent come on.
As well. I think that's fair enough to say.
Because I think
the way the fans sort of reacted, very volatile, to be honest.
Yeah, but I think we'll have opinions on whether it was right.
Yeah, I mean that's gone.
We're not going to get into that. I mean, he's at Real Madrid just sitting on the bench anyway, so just.
I think that the whole situation's been and gone. But yeah, obviously we did play each other very recently in May, but I think it was a different game. This game on Sunday, I think, will be played by both teams at a much higher intensity level. I think Hughes lot will play. I think Hughes lot have to play better than you do against Newcastle, because if you don't, I think we do beat you. But Hughes don't play that bad at Anfield, regardless. Anyway,
I think it is kind of worrying looking at the outside in that in both games this season
you have been very poor.
Not just that, but they had a 2-0 lead.
Yeah, both games,
and they've blown it, which is quite a concern.
No, you're right, and I mean, even in a couple of games last season, again near the end of the season, you've already won the league. You're probably in party mode, but you were 2-0 up against us. Again, not that I want to. It's a fact. It is a fact.
You're not wrong, but look at the. They weren't even in training.
No, that's true.
They went there. What was it like? Ibiza, Dubai.
But I do think that from the last 4 games of the season, I think the one that you probably really wanted to win was against us. I thought, in my opinion, I think the way you played.
A little bit, yeah.
I think just because you had that sort of that feeling of, okay, you don't think we're proper champions, we're going to show you. You played really well first half. We were just coming off the back of that PSG loss, heartbreaking loss. And first half, we were absolutely horrendous. I think Arteta would have went in them at half time. Came back much better second half. Thankfully, got a draw in the end, even though, Mikel Merino got sent off. Andy Robertson scored the last minute when it looked like he did anyway. But it was a foul.
The thing is, though,
this game is going to be completely different. It's going to be
have to make a statement of intent. We have to.
Yeah. But both teams do. The thing is, both teams do. Even for us, it is early on in the season, and a loss for us isn't as bad as a loss for yous would be. I don't think,
especially at Anfield.
Because
our record at the Emirates in cup games is very good.
In cup games is good, yeah.
But in the league, it's a bit iffy.
Well, you haven't beaten us since 21-22 in the league. So, obviously you've got a good draw for yourselves last season.
The season before they won the FA Cup, but we were very poor.
Yeah, very poor. And then, but we did, and then we beat you 3-1 in the league as well. So that was a massive win for us at the time. But no, I think this one it's going to be box office. I think yous lot are going to, as you say, statement of intent for both sides, because for us, I mean, the last time we won at Anfield in the league, I think the last time we won at Anfield in general was I was in year 6. So it shows you how long ago that was in 2012.
Arteta was playing, wasn't
Yeah, he was, yeah. Podolski and Cazorla scored.
he?
So Abu Diaby balled out in that game. So that's how long ago it was.
Yeah.
And we have a much better team now. Obviously, I think the teams aren't too much. There isn't too much of a difference. Maybe
I think you're more defensive.
Yeah, I think defensively
it will be very much attack versus defense.
I think so. But I think it has to be. I don't think anyone could go to Anfield and sort of play Liverpool off the park and dominate Liverpool. I just don't think it will ever really happen. In Premier League sides anyway. And I don't know. I think it's going to be a great game. To be honest, I'm very nervous for it. If we'd had Bukayo Saka fit, I really would have given us an edge. But I just think that the only negative about you winning on Monday, or the main negative, is because you've won. Obviously, I see you as a title contender. I think it's the fact that you know how poorly you played, and I don't think you can play that bad. To be honest, I think that was probably one of the worst games in Arne Slot's.
The thing is, though, we haven't really
tenure, but you've won.
We haven't really ever played well at St James's.
That's true. You don't tend to play well at St James's, but
we always seem to get a result there.
I think since Arne Slot has been at Liverpool, I think, can you really name a performance that bad where you've won? I mean, you know better than me. That's a question I have for you.
That's a very good question, because it's off the top of my head.
Where you've won the game. You've played bad in games you have lost, obviously, or even drew. But
PSG away.
That's fair. That
was up there.
Yeah.
But in the league,
I can't imagine there'd be many, really, especially when you won the league last season.
Yeah, I can't really think of any.
But just in general, I just don't think it was a bit mental, because the first 30 minutes you didn't really play that. Newcastle had you on the back foot. You just had a bit of a period with the ball, sort of keeping possession calm, and then Gravenberch scores. And then, from until the end of the first half, you did sort of have Newcastle a bit more rattled.
Yeah. No, they were going in that game thinking they were going to absolutely
murder.
Yeah, just all that, as if we were going to Galatasaray.
Yeah.
Realistically, our record at St James is pretty decent. I think the last time we lost it, Steve McLaren was in charge.
Yeah.
That's how long ago it was.
10 years ago.
Yeah. So the thing is, I think we have that sort of mental edge where we go there and we think,
you do.
We've grafted results there.
No, you do.
I think even last season we should have won. Kelleher was a bit a fault of that.
Yeah, he was, yeah.
The season before, the Núñez one, we got bad that game.
Yeah, I mean,
10 men as well. By the way,
you lost Virgil van Dijk, who is the main man in defence, and you still somehow found a way to win. So I think from all the top 6 teams, Arsenal, Chelsea, Tottenham, Man United, Liverpool, I didn't know that. And Man City.
Man City do get results there, though.
Man City get results, but I think from the main 5, so from, as I say, Spurs, Chelsea, Man United, Arsenal, and Liverpool. Liverpool seem to be the only team that can go to St James's, not really play that well, and still find a way to get a draw or get a win.
Yeah.
So that's one thing that I give Liverpool, that in one of the toughest grounds in the league.
I'm not going to sit here and say, they're not. St James's is a very difficult place.
Very difficult place.
Even when they're up for it. The thing is, they're always up for the big games.
Yeah.
But it's usually the kind of drop points to the games where you think they're going to win.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Which is probably a concern for Eddie Howe. I know, last season they lost to Brighton, was it?
Yeah, they lost to Brighton at home, Everton at home,
last game of the season,
Bournemouth at home. Those games in particular.
Well, you think they should really go out there and get a result.
But then they beat Chelsea at home, they beat Man U at home.
On Monday, it would have been such a different game. Not because of the goal sent off, because they've already had 11 men on the pitch when they went 1-0 down.
That's true.
If Isak was on that pitch, I think he would have scored. If you remember early on,
the golden chance with them.
Isak 100% buries that.
No, I think so, and I think it would have been very.
You look at Isak's goal last season at St James against Hughes.
Yeah,
that header, it was pretty much identical.
It's bread and butter for Isak. Yeah, no, you're right, and that was. The area of concern for Liverpool at the minute is their defence. That you just don't look as structured.
Yeah.
As you can argue maybe.
I think it's still time just to It is weird going from. Again, I know Frimpong has just come out with an injury, but I think it is weird having. We went from Robertson and Trent since 2018.
Yeah.
2017, 18.
So in a consistent basis,
yeah,
both
for that long,
knew what
and
they were
then
doing,
just to have win the league in the next season, and have two completely different fullbacks.
I mean, there's 4 players that you can say have been a massive part of Liverpool's defence, and that was until last season, which was Alisson, Trent, Van Dijk, and Robertson.
Yeah,
that were them 4 in particular, because sometimes it was Gomez, then Kanate would come in, and then you've had Matip, and so you've always had a different right centre back. But them 4 that I've named, not Phillips as well, them 4 that I've named in particular, especially, I say for me the 2 massive players for Liverpool, and I think who, if you win the league this season, I think these 2 will need to be at their top. Van Dijk and Alisson are just, I
mean, both of them were so good against Newcastle.
Both of them are very, very... And to be fair, you can't really blame Alisson for either goal that Newcastle scored. I don't know, is it fair to say maybe that once Liverpool went 2-0 up, sort of took the foot off the gas a bit?
Well, I think the foot was already off the gas. Because Newcastle, they had the foot on the gas.
Yeah.
And we just had to kind of just ignore everything that was going on in the crowd and on the pitch. So I think it was a weird one because we took our chances and they didn't. I think that was the main difference. Gravenberch, Szoboszlai, by the way, what a performance.
Yeah, but no, that was just about to say.
I know Gravenberch had a bit of a dodgy challenge, but we'll move on from that. We'll talk about Joe Linton. But
Ryan Gravenberch, I think, is a player that I remember. I mean, we talked about this a while before, but you sort of written off on the club. Is that fair to say?
I didn't write him off.
But I don't think you would have considered him to be an important player for Arne Slot.
He's definitely better in a double pivot than he is an out CDM.
Yeah, he's improved a lot under Arne Slot. To be fair, I think, is that fair to say?
Oh, 100%.
So he's going to be. I feel like there's different battles. So we've got sort of, Alisson against Raya, who has whoever has a better game. You could argue maybe edges it. Van Dijk against Saliba, always that sort of debate going on. And I think the big midfield battle for me.
Well, should we do it? We'll take a break. But
you want to do it in a combined 11?
The combined 11.
All right, cool. We can do a combined 11. I'd just like to say a massive thank you to Melanoma-me for providing us with the facilities to be able to record the podcast. Liam, what does Melanoma-me provide?
Well, Melanoma-me provides an opportunity for people that have had skin cancer. Obviously, melanoma is a variant of skin cancer. So it offers them a bit of support in terms of counselling, because it is a very difficult time when maybe a family member or a loved one goes through, obviously, the worst of the worst is cancer.
Of course.
So it just helps them support the families and the people who are going through it. And it is a very sensitive subject.
Yeah.
But obviously, melanoma is very important in just basically just helping people, and that's what it's all about at the end of the day. The fact that they've provided us with this room to record is absolutely, this really helps us out a lot. So just a big shout out to them guys. And
all the social media links for Melanoma-me will be down below in the description. But now, back to the episode.
So, basically, Marlind.
Yeah.
Let's do a Liverpool Arsenal combined 11, because I think it'll be interesting to talk about, because I think
there's been a lot of changes at both clubs.
Start for the goalkeeper. I still think Alisson is the one.
I'm a big fan of David Raya, and I think
I don't mind. I think Raya is.
He's top 3 in the league.
I think Raya is a very good goalkeeper, but I think Alisson is.
I still think Alisson is the precedent, to be honest, and I agree. I think Alisson is still the league's best keeper. Probably still, you can argue, maybe one of the best keepers in the world. Definitely in the top 5 in the world. But yeah, I do concede. I think Alisson is.
Do concede?
Yeah. I concede. Yeah, I think Alisson is the better keeper for sure.
So we're both going for Alisson.
Defence?
Van Dijk goes in.
Yeah, Van Dijk goes straight in. Obviously, that's again. I do say that I think Saliba and Gabriel are a better partnership. They combine better as a pair, but I think I'll give you Van Dijk, but I think you have to give me Saliba.
I'll give you Saliba. I think Kanate the first 2 games of the season, it is worrying.
Yeah,
it's very worrying.
I don't know.
I don't think his head is there because with the contract situation and stuff.
Yeah, there's rumours to Real Madrid, PSG.
Chelsea getting linked with him as well.
Do you see him? You don't see him staying, do you?
I think he'll be gone.
You think he'll be gone?
Which I think
it's a shame.
It is a shame because I think he could go down as I wouldn't say a complete legend.
Yeah,
compared to like Van Dijk, but I think he'll be
a
player that. Yeah, even if he does go, I think it'll be a bit strange because I think there'll always be a soft spot for him. But it's going to be weird that the fact that he's done exactly the same as Trent has done.
Yeah, you can, and especially when you have spent, what was it, 45 million, I think, on him at the time.
Not bad business, though.
Not bad business at all. I think he's first couple of seasons.
That if we're going to sell him, we're going to get a significant price back.
No, I agree. I think I'm curious about what your thoughts are for a right back. I think
Frimpong's out, so he's not in.
I think I know who my option is a right back. I think even if you had both your right backs, I think for me, I think Yuri Timber is a very, very solid right back.
You go for Timber?
Yes, I think he's maybe I'm a bit biased. I think he's genuinely one of the best right backs in the league, if not maybe the best at the minute. I think he's honestly that good. I think.
To be honest, obviously you watch Arsenal me.
Yeah.
Can I put Bradley there? It depends because it doesn't. We're not even 100% sure if Bradley starts because
I think we don't necessarily have to do this lineup where.
I think we should do it now because I think.
Or if you want to do it in the context, that's absolutely fine as well. Then, so yeah, I think for me, but I think Timber has to be there. To be honest, in my opinion,
I'll give you Timber.
I think even if Frimpong was there, I think Frimpong and Timber are very different. I think Timber is not as maybe good in attacking sense, but I think defensively just absolutely fantastic. He never really loses many.
I can't really say Frimpong because it's still early days.
Still early days, that's true. But obviously, what we watched of him at Bayer Leverkusen.
If it was the end of the season and he had a very good season, then we could probably discuss.
There's a debate there. I think there's a debate to be had, but
obviously,
for me, I think Timber's just a level above.
Obviously, we can only go off Leverkusen days. Obviously, solid days before that.
Yeah.
But it's I'll probably give you Timber.
Left back, I think this will be quite interesting.
Well,
Robertson is on a bit of the downfall, but still sort of not the downfall. I think he's on a bit of
He's not the main left back anymore.
Yeah, it's Kirkes.
But I still think he should start on the weekend.
You obviously have said that you believe Robertson should start. I really like Calafiori and Lewis Kelly as our options at left back. To be fair, I think Lewis Kelly was very good at the end of last season. It seems like he's going for the more experienced Calafiori at the minute.
I would have said, if this was the start of the season, I would have said Kirkes.
Yeah.
Because he had a very, very good season last season.
I think Calafiori.
But the first 2 games is a bit, watching him, it's a bit.
Yeah. I think over the years, Robertson has been a fantastic left back. Now, would I take Robertson ahead of Calafiori? Maybe not. So
I'm still going Robbo.
If you're going to stick with Robbo, I'm going to stick with Calafiori. So I think maybe that's the first one we disagree on. But
well, you do your team, I do mine.
That's fair.
It's still.
We're not looking to be biased. I'm genuinely not looking to be biased. Midfield. We're playing a midfield 3, or we're playing
midfield 3.
2. Okay.
Well, it's a 2 with the.
You're doing the pivot and then the 10.
I'll probably go for that one.
Okay.
Obviously, yours is a bit different.
For me, I think Zubimendi and Gravenberch.
What as a pivot?
No, oh God, I nearly forgot about it. How dare I forget about Declan Rice?
I was going to say. I was about to say.
For me, I think Zubimendi's a very good player. I think he will prove to be top. The thing is, I don't know at the minute because Ødegaard can't play, so he's not going to be fit.
Ødegaard wouldn't get my team anyway.
Ødegaard wouldn't get in your team. That's quite interesting. I think when he's at his best, I think he's one of the better sort of.
I just realised I don't like a character there. He's not on my team.
He's not getting my team. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Really? No, we'll have to cut that bit out.
He's on my team.
Okay, so for the midfield, how will you put your formation? Will you play with
double pivot with a 10?
Double pivot with 10. I will go for a 3 in midfield.
Okay.
I think
with a DM.
Yeah. No, I'll go just for a flat 3. I think Zubimendi, Rice, and Gravenberch would be my 3 from the players that are available.
Okay.
I assume McAllister isn't available.
So what was that? What was it? Rice,
Zubimendi, and Gravenberch.
Yeah.
Is McAllister available?
Yeah, it should be. He was just personal. It wasn't injury. He just said it was personal reason.
Ah, okay.
So he should be back. For
me,
me,
I really like McAllister, but I just don't know. I would rather have Rice in my team. I think
for me, it's
Gravenberch has been really good as well.
It's Rice, Gravenberch, and McAllister.
So you put McAllister in the 10?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
I know he doesn't play as a 10 for Liverpool, but I think for this, I think I'm going to put him there just to get them that team.
Yeah, I think.
Or I might I'll change it because I'm going to put Rice as a CDM.
I think Zubimendi and Rice will be a very good sort of combination this season. You know what it is? I might be a bit of a flip-flop here. I might change my opinion, to be honest. I might put Zubimendi and Rice as the pivot and then put McAllister in the 10. To be honest, I think that would be quite a good... I think it would be a decent midfield, to be fair.
But we are sitting a bit on Szoboszlai.
Yeah, you actually know, to be honest, yeah, from players that are available, actually, you know what, I will change my mind again. I will probably put Szoboszlai in the 10 and put Zubimendi and Rice as the two behind.
I just think...
Even though I would say...
As level importance
if Ødegaard's fit,
Liverpool,
I'd put Ødegaard there.
I would definitely... It's a tricky one because I think all three of them are really important for Liverpool, but I think the midfield... Gravenberch right now is the most important Liverpool midfielder. And I think it then goes to McAllister. Yeah. I think we really needed him on Monday.
No, that's right.
Szoboszlai played out the skin, by the way, not discredited.
No, he did. No, you're right. That's why I would put Szoboszlai there because I trust Zubimendi and Rice in a defensive way.
You'd let him attack.
Yeah, but I do think Ødegaard does better work off the ball than Szoboszlai.
Okay.
But again, maybe I'm being biased. But I think it's the midfield. I think for me is the hardest. To be honest,
there's very good players.
There's lots of good players. There's not really one where you'd say, "Oh, he's much better than him." Like there's that. We're very level in midfield. I think there's nothing much between both sides.
I'm going Rice DM, and then the two midfield, McAllister and Gravenberch.
Okay, I will go Rice, Zubimendi, and Szoboszlai. In a flat three, yeah. Okay. I think Szoboszlai can be sort of a box to box.
Right winger, there's only one man.
Right winger, there's only one man. I will say if Saka was fit, though, I think it's a bit more of a debate.
But Salah's still top up.
But Salah, I think, I will give you Salah.
The striker, because
well, you know what it is. The striker is very interesting, but should we
left wing
do the left first?
Okay.
Is it? If Luis Diaz was here at Liverpool, still, I would have. That was a sign. That was a selling that. I think Gakpo is good. I like Gakpo. I rate Gakpo.
I'm going for Gakpo.
You're going to go for Gakpo?
Just because Eze is still new to Arsenal.
That's fair.
I think Eze is a very, very good player. I'm not discrediting him.
That's fair.
I still prefer Gakpo to cut in. Wirtz, I don't think Wirtz is in the discussion.
Wirtz is not a left winger.
Yeah.
I think you need to try and find a way of, even if he plays left wing, at least to be a bit more closer. I don't know. He's going to need time, I think, Wirtz. Yeah. I think that's what we've probably accepted over the last couple of games. He's not just going to come in and sort of be De Bruyne that way. He just comes in.
To be fair, Liverpool's not in a position where we really need him to do that. Obviously, we want him to do that, but we're not in a desperate position where we need him to hit the ground running.
Yeah, no, I agree. But for me, I'm going to back Eze. I'm going to put Eze in. Now, I think this was actually, when I was thinking about this before, this is probably one that is the most curious. I think this is one of the key battles, you can argue. I mean, they're not going to obviously come up against each other, but I think Ekitike and Gyökeres are the two strikers that, both of us have spent big money on. You have spent, is it 80 million on...
You forget one man.
Ekitike?
You forget one man. Who? Jadon Danns. It's Jadon Danns.
You had the Trossard up top. No, obviously you spent, was it 80 million on Ekitike?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. We spent 65 on Gyökeres. I think you could argue we needed a striker maybe more than you did. Even though
at the time, probably because Nunes was still in the club.
But... Yeah. But I think after the sort of the end of last season, I think it was fairly established that Nunes is not going to be...
Yeah, he's done.
He was never going to... I think he had enough time to prove if he was going to be a top player, and he just didn't really perform for Liverpool. Obviously now going to Saudi Arabia. Ekitike, he's got 2 goals in 2 games.
3. No, you're right too. Well, he's
scored, I know, obviously, okay, we can't Community Shield, that's fair, but I think in the Premier League, 2 goals in 2 games. Gyökeres has 2 goals in 2 games.
But 2 goals in 1 game.
Okay, that's fair. But still, now...
It's against Leeds. Yeah. Not discrediting Leeds, but...
Yeah, but then, one of his goals was against Bournemouth, so...
Yeah, Bournemouth, good top team.
Listen, Gyökeres, Gyökeres is...
He didn't... Yeah, but I'm going for Ekitike.
Are you going for Ekitike?
I know he wasn't as lively.
I thought
to the Bournemouth game.
On the ball, I thought against Newcastle, he had a couple of passes which he misplaced.
Yeah.
I think when
however, to get the goal against Newcastle,
big goal.
Yeah,
That's true.
It was a big goal,
yeah.
and I look at that and think Darwin Núñez probably. I know he did score two big goals.
No, you're right. Yeah, but
three if you count the season before. But,
that's true. Darwin Núñez, I think.
But I don't think
you're
Núñez
right.
takes a chance.
He would snatch at them moments. But the one thing I will say is that I think Gyökeres, the way he took his goal against Leeds.
But my concern is that Gyökeres didn't have a single shot on target against Man United.
That's true. I think that he didn't really have much.
I know we discussed this just.
No, of course. We didn't create anything. We created, I'd say, 2 chances the entire game.
Yeah.
The corner, which we scored from, and then that last minute sort of where I think Mourinho laid it across to Saka, and it was Madueke. I think he just completely got his feet wrong. It's going to be interesting because that one is a early sort of like there's battles across the pitch. There's Alisson versus Raya. There's Van Dijk versus.
So are you going for Gyökeres? It's Ekitike. You know it's Ekitike.
I do think. Do you know what it is? It would be quite interesting. Should we make a bet on if they're both fully fit, if they have sort of similar games, that who scores the most goals in this season? Would you be prepared to make a bet?
And whoever loses the bet has to come in with the rival team straight on.
No, I'm not doing that much. I'd rather bet money. I'm not doing. Or I'd rather bet. A creative prony or whatever. I'm not betting. I'm going to bottle it. Yes, I'm going to bottle it.
Got on camera.
Or actually, you know what? How about this? Right? Actually, no. We'll do this. You can cut this bit out. If Gyökeres scores more goals,
okay,
you do an episode with a Gyökeres shirt on. And if Ekitike scores more goals, then I'll do a podcast with Ekitike shirt on.
What, an Arsenal top?
No, a Liverpool top. So I do with the Liverpool top of Ekitike. You do with an Arsenal top of Gyökeres.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Look, my friend.
There we go then. So that's what we made a very early season bet. Maybe there will be more to come. But yeah, Gyökeres Ekitike is going to be very interesting. Very interesting. I think. At the moment, I will put Ekitike in, but I will hope that when we play you in January, that I'll be putting Gyökeres in our starting 11.
Okay.
So yeah, I think we've disagreed on 2 or 3 players. I think we've agreed on the majority of players.
It was the left wing,
midfield,
and the left back.
I think left back.
That's not too bad.
Yeah, you put. Yeah, I've agreed with Ekitike. I don't want to. I'm sorry, Arsenal fans, but just I do think that the problem is the one thing I will say is that I think Gyökeres proved, like, I know people say the Portuguese league isn't the highest quality, and I agree with that, but I think because he did it for 2 seasons in a row and not necessarily just one.
Well, like Núñez.
Rather than Núñez, who did it for 1 and then sort of, got the big move. He did it 2 seasons back to back, and especially last season, he was the main reason supporting him in the league, really.
Okay.
Ekitike, the one thing I will say about Ekitike, and it's not really a knock on him, but when Marmoush left Man City, he was on 15 goals, and Ekitike didn't catch him up.
When he left for Man City?
When he left for Man City, yeah.
He's still quite young, though. Still 22.
He's still young, and I think it's quite interesting because now I don't know if maybe with him there, is there going to be that much pressure on Salah to score the goals?
Well, I think that was the point of bringing all these new tacklers.
I think because
there were every team Liverpool play against.
Yeah,
there was double up on Salah.
I think you can argue we did the same thing with Gyökeres because a lot of teams will double up on Bukayo Saka, for example.
Yeah.
So the one thing I will say is that I know he scored against Bournemouth. He didn't play at his best against Newcastle. Are you still confident that Mo Salah this season will, hit the heights of previous seasons, or do you think we will still see a decent level, but maybe not as much?
I think he will still get a lot of goals. I don't know if he will finish as top goal scorer.
Yeah,
but I think he'll be certainly up there.
Yeah.
He did score against Bournemouth, and it was in the last minute.
Yeah.
He's already off the mark. It's not in the sense that he's desperate for a goal.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens in the weekend. I'm hoping that we do win, but
yeah, of course you would.
I think it will be. I think it'll be 2-2.
I agree. I think it'll be a 2-2. I mean, we had both of the games last season were 2-2. Moving on from football.
Yeah, well, this podcast we're going to try and talk about multiple sports.
Yeah.
More sports we could than others. I don't think we could really sit here and say we're going to be able to talk about golf or NFL because we're both not really clued up. But the main sports that we want to really come on here and talk about. In the future, we might get people on who do know about golf and stuff like that. But right now, I think we want to build an audience for obviously football or like Premier League, Champions League, that kind of scene. UFC.
Yeah. MMA fans.
Yeah.
Boxing fans.
Boxing. And
tennis fans as well. I'm a big fan of tennis,
and then
especially the Grand Slams.
And then when the NBA starts up,
talk
about a bit more
that's
NBA
what we
as well.
for sure.
Because I think there'll be a lot of talk about NBA. But right now, I think in this episode, there's been a lot more talk about in football and a lot of other sports. There's not really been. I know there was a UFC fight night on the weekend, but it wasn't really. I didn't watch it anyway.
It was okay. I mean, Johnny Walker went back to winning ways, and Aljamain Sterling dominated Brian Ortega. So that was a big fight in the featherweight division, but obviously.
But it's not the main cards. I think we're going to try and focus more on the main cards. Obviously, I think
we want to cover the pay-per-views, the UFC pay-per-views. Well, until they get the Paramount deal, but the main UFC events. You know, obviously next we have fighting wise, we've got Canelo Crawford, which we're both really excited for. To be honest,
very excited.
So we're going to be doing a massive preview for that. So stay tuned for that one, and. Obviously, UFC in October, looks good as well. Alex Pereira comes back. Marab Dishvashvili as well comes back as well. So
it is exciting.
So listen, MMA fans, and even boxing fans. This is where you want to be listening because we've got it all covered for you.
There's a fight night I'm very excited for.
It is.
Oliveira
against Fiziev, that'll be a good one as well. In Brazil.
Yeah.
So,
is that Brazil?
It is, It'll be a late one.
It's weird how he's not on the main card anymore, though.
I think he's. It's not really about main card or on a pay per view. It's more. I think he's taking this fight, trying to get back in there and trying to get back in the win column. But a bit risky though, because the knockout against Topuria was a bad one. But it's going to be interesting to see. There's. I think boxing at the minute is on a bit of a more of an upward turn. You can argue.
I think. UFC's in a weird position right now where it's. I think in the next few years it will go up.
Hopefully with the Paramount deal.
Right now, look, I'm not Dana White's biggest fan.
No, I agree. It's a bit stagnant.
I think he is currently right now. Back when McGregor and that was in, he used to get fights done when people wanted to watch. Right now, he's not doing that, and that's kind of worrying.
No, he's not. No, I mean the big fights that people want to see. Really, obviously we know. The whole discourse, Jones and Aspinall, which Aspinall is.
He's a duck. He is a duck.
Of course he is. He has got his fight coming up against Cyril Gane, so that's going to be another great preview. And we're gonna try and get two people on that we know very well, who are big John Jules fans.
We'll see.
We'll see if we can get them on. But it'll be. Listen, there's a lot to come. So stay tuned for all of that. But the big news in boxing.
But yeah, I was going to say right now, we're going to just cover two sports today, and that is literally just football and boxing because the only headlines really.
There's no headline. Yeah, there's no other headline.
I know in golf, that Fleetwood guy won something, but I'm not too. I like playing golf. I don't like watching golf.
The US Open in tennis has started as well. There's not really been. It's been a mental tournament so far, to be honest. I mean, Daniil Medvedev went out after a crazy game against Benjamin Bonzi. Holger Rune went out yesterday against Struff. But Sinner, Alcaraz and Djokovic are the three that look as if they're going to be very strong in the men's game. Again this year they're going to hopefully go very far. Unfortunately, Jack Draper, who is sort of the number one British player, he did unfortunately have to withdraw, so which was a shame. But we will cover more of the US Open next week when once there's. We're in the quarterfinal stages, semi-final stages, so that's going to be very interesting. But yeah, the main news in boxing at the minute, Liam Rafferty, my friend, is the biggest leech in boxing has made another fight with someone who is way smaller than him. Now, for those who don't know, Jake Paul, he's a
Have you seen the clip?
He's a character, isn't he?
Sorry to cut you off, but have you seen the clip where he's like boxing the cake?
No, I haven't.
I think it was at Logan. I think Logan got married or something.
Oh, did he?
And then there's like, look, I obviously didn't go to the wedding. I don't know if it was like an wedding or not, but there's a weird clip of where they had the wedding cake, and then Jake Paul just boxes it, and it took him a while to actually destroy him.
Oh, actually destroy it. He's I mean, the guy was originally fighting sort of old MMA fighters, trying to build his name, and he did alright with that. Obviously, he beat people like Anderson Silva and Ben Askren, who, by the way, just like to quickly say about Ben Askren, I hope he's doing well and recovering well, because what he went through over the last couple of months has been pretty bad. So I hope he's doing well. But yeah, he beat the retired basketball player as well, NFL star.
Oh yeah, it was the NBA one.
Nate Robinson.
Yeah,
that was one of his first fights.
That was ages ago.
He did recently beat Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., who actually got extradited from the United States and deported back to Mexico. So,
Condolences.
Yeah. So,
but
he has announced his next fight against Gervonta Tank Davis, who
in his own weight class.
Yeah.
Very good fighter.
Yeah.
But against Jake Paul, who's got
200 pounds. It's an exhibition.
A lot of height on him as well.
It's an exhibition. It's going to be interesting. Tank Davis should win because of the sheer boxing skill. But the biggest problem with Tank Davis that I've got is the guy is a bit of a charlatan, to be honest. He's got big fights on the table, legacy-defining fights. Shakur Stevenson, Devin Haney, really. Even a Ryan Garcia rematch. I think a lot of people would watch it. And the guy is just taking, he's going to get a lot of money.
As I say, payday.
He's going to get a massive payday, but the guy was making good money anyway. And I don't know what it is. I just can't. When he beat Ryan Garcia, for me, I was a fan. I was really sucked in. And even when he beat Leo Santa Cruz in 2020, it was an unbelievable knockout. But it's just, since that Ryan Garcia fight, the guy has just not really, Tank hasn't really, sort of done what the fans want him to do, which is set up them big fights with Shakur, with Devin Haney even. I mean, people don't like Devin Haney anyway, so really they would probably want Tank to go in there and box him up. But
it's just
a shame.
It's an absolute mismatch,
and Jake Paul, to be fair, he's
by the way,
and a very clever guy.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you why he's very clever, because he made it out as if he was actually prepared to take the Anthony Joshua fight.
I was literally just about to say that.
But that guy, I mean, rightfully so, shouldn't be taking a fight against Anthony Joshua. I don't care how old Anthony Joshua is.
As the fall of Anthony Joshua has been, right?
Yeah.
He is still levels
top
above.
10 heavyweight in the world.
He is still levels above Jake Paul.
Absolutely, without a doubt.
This is why people get hurt.
Yeah.
When mismatches like that happen.
Exactly.
He would literally go in there and just
ice him around,
kill him.
You've
seen the way Francis Ngannou, right?
Yeah, he was a big man.
Francis Ngannou is one of the most scariest blokes in the world. I know boxing has a lot more rules compared to UFC in terms of what you can and can't
But
do.
MMA is a sport. It's obviously,
it's a lot more. If Anthony Joshua would get destroyed in the cage
against Ngannou, that's fine.
But in a boxing ring, Anthony Joshua. Bear in mind, Francis Ngannou had a very good fight against Tyson Fury.
Where
in a lot of people's eyes, he won that fight.
He won the fight, exactly. Yeah. So, and iced him in 2 rounds.
Yeah, and exactly. So, I can't get my head around the fact that Jake Paul is trying to hype this Anthony Joshua fight, which realistically will never happen.
Yeah, but I think that's what the idea was, because no one paid the pay-per-view for the Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. fight. I think it went 80,000 pay-per-views, which compared to his Tyron Woodley numbers, I think they were like 500,000 to begin with.
Right.
So Jake Paul's pay-per-views are on the downward.
Because he needs that name, and this is exactly what Tank Davis is. This is a big name.
Yeah. The biggest problem with that is that you look at it and you go, can Tank Davis at his biggest even reach 155? Probably not.
If he does,
do you know what I mean?
He's fat.
Exactly.
Like, he's slow.
Exactly. So
he might get power on his punches, but you gas out quicker.
Literally, and that's the problem. It's not even a fight that's worth watching, because like it's literally like
it is a mismatch.
We have a friend called Andy Nicholson, right? it's literally like Liam fighting Anthony Nicholson. It's the size difference and like the weight difference is just completely, you know what I mean? It's completely mental. And the maddest thing is, it's on Netflix. There'll probably be a lot of people who will watch it because it's Tank, but I just can't see myself watching it, to be honest.
No,
I don't even like. When Jake Paul fought Tommy Fury, there was actually that level of risk that he's going to lose because it was a professional fight as well.
As much as I don't like Tommy Fury, I don't rate him as much of a fighter. At least he is more of a professional fighter than Jake Paul is.
Well, exactly, not just that, but at least he was a proper boxer compared to the Anderson Silvas and Tyron Woodleys and Ben Askrens, and do you know what I mean? So, and even when he fought Mike Perry, it's like, and he brought Mike Tyson out of retirement. Mike Tyson was pensioner Mike Tyson. He was 57, 58 years old. It's like
knee problems, back injuries.
You know what I mean?
He's always on fucking weed.
Exactly. So it's just that guy, man. I can't. Eventually, he will have to fight a proper, like a world champion eventually, and he will lose. But
he gets smoked.
He's doing well for himself. He's cashing in at the minute because people are still talking about him. That is the mental thing. Is that people are still giving him attention. Exactly. They're still giving him attention, so that's what he wants, and that's what gives him that opportunity to be able to put the big shows on the Netflix to get all that money. But the problem is, even if he beats Tank, it's an exhibition anyway, so it doesn't actually count for a profession. So it doesn't really do much for Tank in terms of...
It's just money.
It's just money. It's just money motivated. So, which is a shame really, because with the... Obviously, Turkey Al-Sheikh has come in recently in the last couple of years, and obviously he's put in a lot of money on the table for these fighters, but at least the fights that we want to see, like, for example, Beterbiev Bivol, Canelo Crawford, Fury against Usyk. These are three of the fights, especially Fury, Usyk and Beterbiev Bivol. We would not have seen them fights if it wasn't for Turkey Al-Sheikh putting the money on the table and going, listen, both of you, shut up, sign, we'll make the fight. So, at least, even though it is a lot of money, Turkey Al-Sheikh is putting that money towards big fights and the fights that the fans
people
want to
exactly,
see.
That's what it comes down to.
No one wants to see Jake Paul fight Tank Davis. Really? Do you actually want to watch it? Like I can't watch it. Like, at least with Canelo Jake Paul, there was that element of, right, Canelo's going to kill Jake Paul. Or that feeling of, like, he's finally going to get, demolished.
Even AJ.
Or even if AJ, but... I mean, I just hope that Joshua doesn't entertain any more of that with Jake Paul. I think Joshua...
I really want AJ to go back in the ring with...
I think Joshua's got many fights on the table. He's got Dubois.
He needs that Dubois fight.
I would like him... I mean, even though it's still years on, I would still watch a Deontay Wilder fight with Joshua just because... Just to actually see a final result.
Well,
and I think Joshua Fury is still a good fight.
Speaking of Deontay Wilder, he wants Francis Ngannou.
So Deontay Wilder wants Francis Ngannou. Okay, that's interesting. I mean, clearly he thinks of it as a massive payday.
Yeah.
Deontay Wilder's career...
People would watch that. People would watch that.
People would. I mean,
but the thing is with Deontay Wilder, he's a one-trick pony. Realistically, would it work against Francis Ngannou? Probably.
To be honest,
Francis Ngannou...
It's interesting. Because they're both very, very powerful, and it's kind of that thing of like, whoever lands first.
Yeah, that's exactly what I mean. Because Francis Ngannou, he hasn't got anything he can really counter towards that.
No, exactly.
Whereas a lot of other heavyweights can.
No, you're right. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
And I just think Ngannou, Wilder, it would be interesting because realistically I couldn't call it. Because it'd be Wilder was one trick. Ngannou would have nothing to really counter it. Other than the sheer power. I
think it would be interesting. I think Deontay Wilder over the last few, since the Fury trilogy, he hasn't been that active. That's the problem. I think he's fought
with Wilder.
He fought Robert Helenius, which he beat him in a round, and then he was off for a year and a half. Fought Joseph Parker, got dominated by Joseph Parker. And then he got absolutely battered by Zhilei Zhang.
Parker wants Usyk.
And then Parker and Usyk, that could be the fight next as well. But Joseph Parker's been on a massive resurgence. But he dominated Wilder, and then obviously Zhilei Zhang went in and battered Wilder as well. Wilder did win his last fight, but he wasn't really that convincing.
I was going to say, this is not the Wilder.
It's not the Wilder before, where he had that sort of ferocity and stuff. Or that fear factor, like people can go in, even though his right hand is still...
Oh yeah.
Unbelievable. You don't lose the power.
He's the bomber for a reason.
The problem is that I think there's a game plan to beat Deontay Wilder, and I think he may be able to beat
He's been found out.
He's been found out, exactly. Yeah. Any top level boxer will beat him.
Yeah.
I think I would still give him the edge on Francis Ngannou just because I think that he spent more time in the boxing gym. He's obviously had more fights. But for me, I think the fight that, I mean, I keep seeing across, I have a feeling that Joshua Wilder is going to happen in December, which would potentially then set up Joshua Fury if Joshua obviously gets past Wilder.
I think Joshua Fury will ever happen now.
Maybe not. I mean, I still think it's a big fight to be made. I know people maybe aren't as hyped for it as they once would, but I still think it's that.
It will get the views that it deserves.
I think, yeah,
because it is still a ridiculously big fight.
Them two will make so much money.
It doesn't mean as much as it once did.
No, it doesn't. I think the only title you can really give to that fight now is the sort of the King of Britain, you know, of this generation at least.
But in my eyes,
it should have been.
Fury's not the boxer he once was.
No, of course
He
not.
isn't the boxer he once was, and it's just. It seems like it's about 6 years too late.
That's fair. I still think it's a big fight though, and you know what it is. I've always backed Joshua, and I will still continue to back Joshua in that fight. The one thing I will say is that I think he's not really shown a willingness to fight Joshua the way that I think Joshua's went.
No, because he wants to.
About Fury more.
He had to fight Usyk.
Yeah.
He had to fight him.
Yeah, and he's convinced himself he's been robbed, which
he hasn't.
Ridiculous.
He got the trilogy.
He's potentially going to get.
But he's probably going to get a trilogy.
He's fighting
if he comes back.
Yeah.
He probably will because he always comes about retirement. But he's just in the last few years he's took the easier route.
Yeah.
When he really should have went for the AJ fight.
No, you're right.
Like we obviously just mentioned Ngannou.
He fought Ngannou.
He's seen that as a quick
crash grab. Didn't work out that way.
Yeah.
Chisora was a crash.
Chisora was
carried him through the rounds. It's just I don't know, the Tyson Fury thing. It's going to be interesting to see what the heavyweight division is going to be like in the next few years. Obviously, you're going to have Daniel Dubois, Moses Atuma coming up. Usyk still doesn't look as if he's going to retire. I would like him to retire. I think
Usyk hasn't. He's
done nothing to prove it. I mean, Joseph Parker's probably the last.
Bros went in 2 divisions and just went swept it.
No, you're
just
right. Absolutely right.
For him to go into heavyweight and do what he's done is absolutely
fantastic.
Applaud it.
I just think he's one of the greatest fighters of all time, let alone greatest heavyweights or greatest cruiserweights. I mean, what he's done, as you said, with a massive size disadvantage.
Yeah.
Fighting.
But you think any big fighter in the last 10 years?
Yeah.
Usyk has fought him and won.
Probably, yeah, especially in the heavyweight division.
Like the man has went from like the likes of Bellew, Fury,
Dubois, Joshua, Chisora as well. No, it's you're absolutely right, and I mean he beat Chisora quite convincingly. Chisora had a bit of a goal in the first 3 or 4 rounds. Beat Joshua twice, beat Dubois twice, beat Fury twice, beat Bellew. The guy's the best, without a doubt. And
he is the. He is like probably the GOAT in our modern time.
Oh, absolutely, I agree, and I think because, as you say, I think the reason why you'd say he's the GOAT in this time as well is because, again, as we've just said, he's fighting guys smaller than him. Sorry, bigger than him.
I was gonna say he's the
smaller guy. So, you know, I think the next fight for him is Joseph Parker. In my opinion, I hope that gets made because I think Joseph Parker deserves a title shot. You know, he's beaten Martin Bakoli, he's beaten Johnny Wilder, and Zhile Zhang as well. So I think Joseph Parker for sure deserves that fight. Yeah. I would actually give Joseph Parker. I don't think he'll get knocked out, but I think Usyk would beat him in a decision, in my opinion, if that fight happens. If you Usyk,
it'd be a very good fight. I would rather see that. I'd rather see that than the Fury trilogy.
Of course. The second Usyk Fury fight was not even anything really to get excited about because Fury fought in such a defensive way. He didn't really go for Usyk,
which is quite ironic because that's the way how he fought him towards the end of that Ngannou fight as well.
Exactly. So you know what I mean, and I just think that Fury just if Fury really wants that trilogy with Usyk, which he probably does because he feels that he needs that victory back. I think that's the problem with Tyson Fury. He has.
But if he loses the full trilogy against Usyk, the
guy, I mean, True Geordie said it, which was actually such a funny thing, is that he would fight Usyk 10 times, maybe win once, and then be like, oh, I'm the best of a generation type thing. You know what I mean? Tyson Fury's just. I'm not a fan, basically. I'm not a fan. I'm not really ever been one.
I went through I wasn't probably a Tyson Fury fanboy.
Yeah.
during the Wilder.
Yeah, I think everyone would have respected him during then,
but after that he's ducking.
No, he is. He would have ducked.
If he had the chance to duck Usyk, he would have.
Well, he did. That's the reason why he fought Ngannou.
Yeah.
It's the reason why he fought Chisora and Ngannou. Them fights didn't need to be made. It was Usyk straight away.
Yeah.
But he didn't make it. And then it was only until, as you said, Turki Al-Sheikh came in, boom, money on the table. I just hope that, you know, if we're gonna see Tyson Fury fight again, I mean, listen, I would see the guy fight again, no problem. But I think it has to be get Tyson Fury in the ring with either Daniel Dubois or Anthony Joshua. And speaking of Daniel Dubois, he sacked Don Charles.
Yeah. It was needed.
Probably. I think there's a big issue there.
After that Usyk fight, that was the best way to go around things. Right?
I think there was a bit of an issue. There's been issues, I think, to begin with. He sort of pushed Don Charles out of the way when he did a face-off. The whole, you know, I think there's issues as well with his dad is a massive influence on Daniel Dubois. The party that he had.
No, I'm not saying from the cut ties with his dad. I'm not saying.
No, of course not. But there's a problem with his dad.
He needs to separate him. The fighter to the person.
No, you're right. I think he's what his dad was doing. Apparently, even during the fight against Usyk, he was giving him instructions. It's like you have a boxing trainer.
Yeah.
Daniel Dubois' dad is not a boxing coach.
Yeah.
It was Don Charles. You should be listening to Don Charles. But even the way Don Charles went about things as well wasn't very good in my opinion. Sort of
got nasty.
Going about Usyk's religion. He mentions race and religion, which are two big topics in life.
Yeah.
So flippantly and sort of it's a bit, you know, I don't know. For me, yeah, I think it's the best sort of thing they could have done. Tony Sims is he's a good boxing trainer. He's also now being managed by Sam Jones, so it's going to be quite interesting to see what Daniel Dubois will do in the future. You know, and how his career will shape up. You know, can he be the heavyweight king if once Usyk retires? You know. We'll have to wait and see, really. But I think for me, Daniel Dubois has got a lot of good fights on the table. He's got, I think he's got the Joshua rematch there. I think him and Tyson Fury would be a great fight as well. You know, even maybe Moses Atuma in the future as well. Atoma, I don't know if I'm saying it correct. Feel free to correct me in the comments. But yeah, I think Daniel Dubois has got some. There's still some great fights to be made in the heavyweight division, even though it feels like Usyk has pretty much cleaned out the division. You feel like once maybe Usyk retires, there'll be a sort of the belt could be anyone's, in my opinion. Yeah. So I think it's going to be boxing's in a good.
It's in a good way.
It's in a good way. Yeah.
A few years ago.
And thankfully, you know, Turkey has come in and you know he's making the fights that people actually want to see.
He does make it all about himself, though.
Of course he does. But,
when you're throwing that much money on it, you would. I would do the same.
You know what I mean? You would
which fight was where he fell asleep or something? He was like in the front row and he was just like asleep.
I can't remember, but that's interesting now as well with Turki Al-Sheikh as well. Him and Dana White have now combined and.
Yeah, but Dana White, he always says something, and then he backtracks to when he sees the money.
Yeah, no, that's right. But Dana White has always wanted to have a say in the sport of boxing, and I think that's what Turki Al-Sheikh has allowed him to have. And now they've got their sort of you know their business together. It's going to be interesting to see what you know can they blow the promoters like Bob Arams, Eddie Earns, Frank Warren's out of the water.
I think they will. I think
they potentially can. They potentially can.
It'd be interesting to see if he gets involved with UFC.
Yeah.
I don't think he will. But
speaking of what you said about Saudi Arabia with the UFC, I mean they've already started having events there in Saudi Arabia, and
there's one coming up, isn't there?
Yeah, there is. Yeah. They had one this year as well, or I think it was last year, with Robert Whittaker.
The only good thing about that, I'm not a big fan of when the fights are in Saudi Arabia boxing.
The crowds,
the crowds. But the only good thing about that is the times.
Yeah, that helps. At least it's not like USA times, where, you know what I mean? At least it's on similar times to British. But speaking of your sort of comment about Saudi Arabia potentially getting involved with the UFC, when the UFC were looking to make the Jones-Aspinall fight, apparently part of John Jones' purse, so obviously there was, I think John Jones asked for, I think it was 25-30 million. Which he got.
Yeah.
They offered it to him. And I think Saudi Arabia was involved in that, sort of that Turki Al-Sheikh was involved in that process, obviously, you know, with the money. But John Jones didn't want to know. So, but I think that if they were willing to get involved in them type of fights, I think in the future they'll be getting involved for sure. I think it's where the world's going. You know, they've got the most money, so prize fighting. It's prize fighting.
They're getting involved in every sport.
Exactly. So football especially as well.
Didn't they get the golf?
Yeah.
They got football,
tennis events as well.
PIF on Newcastle United.
Yeah.
Isn't there some?
There's apparently
Super Cups in Saudi Arabia. Was that Qatar?
I don't remember, but I know for a fact. I think what is already confirmed is that in 2034 we will have the World Cup in Saudi Arabia as well. So
yeah, it'd be interesting.
Yeah, they're getting involved. Money talks in it, but I think that's
the thing is though, especially with football and boxing. It's probably the two biggest sports.
They're prize sports. Prize sports.
Whoever pays the most money either wins or gets.
Yeah, without a doubt.
So that's all for today. We've covered football and boxing. Obviously, Premier League. Talked about the Champions League.
Yeah.
Done a prediction with our game on. Well, the Liverpool Arsenal game on.
Made the first bet of the season as well.
Yeah, which.
I wonder how many more there's going to be.
Yeah. Talking about UFC, boxing.
Yeah.
Hopefully next week we'll have a bit more to talk about with other sports than just football. I know a lot of this episode was football heavy, but that's all we've got today, guys. Please do like, share, comment what your thoughts are, if we're right or wrong. I mean, we are just two idiots at the end of the day.
Literally, we were two idiots just speaking about sports.
Yeah, so just let us know if we're absolute clowns or if we've got it spot on. I've been Liam Rafferty, has been Marlind. You merry.
Thank you very much, mate.
And we'll see you next week. We're going to try and get episodes out weekly and just kind of talk about the sports news roundup. And hopefully we'll get podcasting soon where we'll kind of talk to guests and get feelings with previews and sort of big match or big fights as well, analysis and stuff like that. So stay tuned, guys. Thank you very much for watching.